What good has this pandemic brought you? Hire a guys, subscribe now, or I will cough at you. I've been drug free for 6 months now, started because I couldn't get any, now I just don't want any. Thank you COVID. I am so proud of you. Way to go. My husband used this time to go through the long hard withdrawal process, though not because he couldn't get it anymore. He's tried a few times to quit, but during the withdrawals he would relapse. He couldn't miss any more work and it would start again. He's made it through this time because of the extended time off work, and he's doing so well. Still struggling with depression and insomnia, but he's present again and he's feeling things again, and I just couldn't be more proud of the progress that he's made and the resilience he's shown. And I'm so happy to see he's made a priority, because it's something he's wanted to do for a long time. I'm so proud. This here really shows that drugs aren't a criminal issue, it's just people making mistakes and getting tied up in it. Glad to see people getting out of drugs. What are your thoughts on rehab? I personally wouldn't go to rehab because I've got willpower now. I got offered some party drugs the other week and I said no. That was my turning point. But rehab has worked for a friend of mine but hasn't worked for another, and they got some as soon as they left rehab. Very sad. That's great to hear that you don't even need rehab. A shame about the second friend though. Easy to get hooked, huh? I lost my job and caught COVID 3 weeks apart, but since then I've lost 20 pounds and I had time to study for and pass 3 different tests for new state level board certifications that I'll hopefully be able to spin into a new career soon. Congratulations. You turned lemons into lemonade. I want lemonade now. I'm a single dad who went from traveling 250k miles per year for speaking gigs to all virtual overnight. I've spent the last 6 months seeing my 7-year-old daughter every day, and it's been nothing short of magical. Same thing with my husband, he was traveling every week Monday through Thursday. Since COVID he has seen more of our kids than he ever had in the past. He didn't have a bad relationship with him before, but I can tell they are closer now. My husband being around every day is a positive for our family. How are you finding the virtual speaking? Fierce hard to have a stage presence over a webcam. Very true. It's doable, but definitely harder. Bought a house with record low mortgage interest rates. Paid off a couple of my student loans sooner than expected thanks to the emergency forbearance, and started dating an incredible girl. I sort of feel bad about how well things have been going for me while so many other people are losing everything. This exactly. The emergency forbearance has saved $5 plus in interest this year alone, and now we are in talks to build a house because of us paying off a few loans now. Emergency forbearance? My loans into REIT never stopped. The government mandated 0% interest and no payments. As long as your loans were federal loans, they were set to 0% interest and don't require payments. Was this automatic? Your lender should have automatically applied it. My 2 servicers are my Fed loan and Navient, and both automatically applied this in April. I see people are interested in your house and interest rates, but I wanna know how you got the girl. How did you two meet with this distancing thing going on? PS. Congrats on your achievements. Don't feel bad, it's not your fault things are bad for other people. We actually met back in March at a Bernie rally before the lockdown started. We chatted briefly, but I chickened out and didn't ask for her number. Threw a Hail Mary and sent her a Facebook message later that night. She never goes on Facebook, so she didn't see it until mid-July, but she responded. We started chatting, exchanged numbers, then I eventually asked her out. That's really a nice story. I assume social media has some positives in the end. I don't use it at all anymore, but I used Facebook to message my now husband after having met him for 5 minutes at a mutual friend's party. He asked me out on a date and the rest is history. I do thank FB for making it easy for us to come together like that, but I avoid it like the plague these days. Pun intended. I hate saying it, because I know so many people are in a less fortunate position, but I've financially benefited from it. Both myself and my wife have continued working. We're both just under the cutoff for the full stimulus check. I've received a lot of OT, and we, sadly, had to cancel a couple of vacations this year, but were able to get mostly full refunds. That coupled with less driving, going out to eat, etc. we've made out very well over the last 6 months. Very thankful for it. I did too, and I feel similarly awkward admitting it. I got my first real job at a supermarket due to panic buying when I'd likely have not worked over summer normally. I'm a student. From my job I was able to buy a nice computer and several games I wanted for a while but not had the specs for. Even with that outlay I've still got the best bank balance I've ever had. I know I'm very lucky. Same. My savings account has never been bigger. Never realized how much I could save by staying home all the time. And I am pretty much a homebody as is, but this is a whole new level. Now I am just saving it hardcore for when the economy totally collapses, which will be in the next few months I'm guessing. I'm in the same situation. I've been spending a bit more on frivolous crap from Amazon, but overall, the amount we're saving by just not going out to eat, going to shows, live sports, trips, etc. has equated to about an extra $1,000 per month directly into savings for me. I've also been getting more OT over the past few months, which helps. I got engaged in June and all that extra savings has been great in booking wedding vendors. My fiancé and I are basically breaking even while paying the deposits with our extra savings and not having to touch our checking accounts at all. Total opposite here. I survived 6 months in self-quarantine on canned beans and rice. And now that I have a bit of money I'm buying ribs and sushi out. It won't be forever, but for a week before school starts it is nice. I've struggled with agoraphobia and other mental health issues on and off throughout the past few years, and a couple months before the pandemic I was in a really bad place and unable to leave my house for the most part. Once the pandemic moved everything online I was able to receive help while at home. And as things have been slowly reopening I have been able to follow baby steps, such as eating at a restaurant, but outside on the patio where I'm more comfortable, or riding the bus with fewer people allowed on than the usual crowding, and am making so much progress. I feel so much better because in a way everybody is acting in a similar way as me as far as anxiety and avoiding crowds and enclosed spaces, and slowly opening up. This has helped me feel less like a weirdo and failure. I've been able to conquer a ton of fears, and after many years of struggling I've finally addressed these issues. Edit. Wow, thank you for the kind words everyone. You really put a big smile on this face, haha. I've never actually met or heard from anyone else who has agoraphobia, so it makes me feel even less alone to see there are others who feel like I do. It's such a shitty thing to deal with, but I believe we can all get to where we'd like to be someday. Fellow agoraphobic here. I feel like the way I go out and about is aligned with my natural state now than before the pandemic. I really appreciate your post. That's so fucking rad. I was in a similar situation. I haven't been able to go outside in a while due to all my anxieties surrounding my OCD, but I've slowly been able to go outside and get a coffee at a place down the street from my house. Having therapy and everything more accessible to me has helped so much. A lot of time with nothing to do but improve myself. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm cutting back on drinking. I'm sleeping better. I'm running my first D campaign remotely and having a blast doing it. I started reading recreationally again. I'm learning how to cook all sorts of things I never tried before. Overall, things are pretty good, considering. I witnessed enough people do the opposite of this and ruin their mental state, so it makes me happy to read that someone is making good use of their time. Keep up the good work, Sign Manta. I've kinda done both. I was on a self-improvement kick in the beginning, then fell into a depressed state and stopped giving a After 6 years of trying for a child and multiple miscarriages, I'm finally pregnant and going on week 20. All it took was me being able to stop being so busy, I guess. I realized going full-time at school to be a chemist and hosting art shows in my city made me really stressed, and I was barely home. My husband and I have been getting along so well. It feels like a new beginning in this shitty plague time, but we've come together and realized what great friends we really are and how much we love one another. To better perspective on understanding myself and emotional clarity. For me the same. I think during this pandemic I had more time to care of myself and had more room to breathe. I could look at things from a new perspective and follow more of my hobbies. This year my New Year's resolution was, I'm getting out this year. I bought tickets for 5 concerts and a music festival. I had a trip planned for Austria and the Great Lakes. That's all Reddit guys. And don't forget, please subscribe or I will cough at you.